How are we doing, men? Coach James, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel. As I said in the arm video, I'll take you through my upper body session. So if you've not watched the arm session, go back and watch it. I explain how I actually structure my training. I'll cover it briefly. I always do 6 exercises, 99% of the time, 3 main supersets, and I do 45 seconds, maybe even 40 seconds, 30 seconds time under tension. Within that time frame, I will do anything between 8 to 15 reps. I let the time dictate the amount of repetitions. I let the exercise dictate the amount of repetitions. And what do I mean by that? When it's about doing controlled repetitions. But for example, a bicep curl in 45 seconds would have more reps than a stiff leg deadlift because there's a bigger range of motion, let's say. So that's the way that I do my training. I like to keep it short and sharp within a kind of 60-minute window of training. That's what I like for my online clients. That's what I like for my clients in my private facility. It's 60 minutes or less. There's no point in going beyond that for the general population. I train the general population and they want time efficient and effective workouts. Also, most of the men that I coach are over the age of 40. The recoverability from big long sessions, too many exercises, too many sets and reps, you can't recover. You end up with achy joints, really sore muscles. And when you're trying to go about your daily business, it's not good. Will there be muscle soreness in training? Absolutely. But we don't want those achy joints all the time from just doing crap reps and needless reps and too many exercises. So, so here's the session. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what my session was today. So the way that I'm currently structuring my training, and I have done for many years now, probably the last 5 years, is I do a lower body day, I do a upper body day, I normally do a run, so rest day from the weights, but do some sort of 3 to 5k run. Then the day I come back, I actually do a full arm session with abs, some cardio, interval style cardio. Then I will go back to lower body day, another upper body day, and I kind of cycle through that. I do like make sure I do 3 runs, 3 outdoor runs, 3 to 5k, and I change the structure of that as well. But when I'm doing the lower body days, I'm trying to create a program with balance. So hamstring quad exercise, calves in there, and one movement, whether it's a lunge type movement. When I do the upper body days, again, it's trying to create some sort of balance to it throughout the 6 exercises. But if I'm training upper body twice a week, you're effectively doing 12 exercises for the upper body per week, which gives you a chance to balance out horizontal push, horizontal pulling, vertical push, vertical pulling. And then you can add in some isolation exercises, whether it's laterals, whether it's rear delts, push-ups, all of these things. You can add in what you want. So I basically have within my upper body 4, let's call them more compound style movements, multi-joint, then 2 isolation type exercise. Not all the time, but most of the time. And that is enough for me at the age of 43 to keep my muscle mass where it's currently at and get a time efficient and effective workout. Again, I'm at the stage in my life I do not want to be in the gym or training. I'm in the gym a long time because I work in a gym. I'm a co-founder of a personal training facility, so I'm here pretty much all day, every day apart from a Saturday. But what I mean is my training sessions, I like to keep them short, sharp. I like to keep short rest periods. I like to keep a flow to the workout. Whether I'm training in here or whether I'm training in another gym, I will almost just train in the one little space or the one little zone in my private gym. Or if I'm in another gym, I will base it, because the biggest complaint I get from my online clients, because they're not training in a private gym obviously, but when I'm not training in here, I will go train in a big, what you would call a big box gym. And again, the biggest challenge is getting your routine done in a big busy gym. So what I will effectively do is I will take one bench and take dumbbells or go next to the dumbbell rack, and I will do a full workout with dumbbells. Or I will do a workout that can be done one dumbbell exercise, one machine exercise, so that you can stay next to it and you have flow to your workout. Because you know what happens if you move away from this fucking piece of equipment, somebody's taking it, and that is annoying as fuck. So that's what I would normally do. So for example, if I was in a normal gym and I was probably, you wouldn't be taking this squat rack, you get shot for it. But I'm doing bench, I would do bench and pull-ups, just to stay next to it. Or I would do bench and a dumbbell one-arm row, let's say, so that I have a superset, I can get through it without moving away, without someone disrupting my workout, my exercises. So enough of the rambling. Listen, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. If you are looking for professional online training with a coach who has trained for 27 years, who has 14 years experience of training clients face to face and online for the last 14 years. I've not just done a fucking weekend course and jumped online and say I'm a coach. No, I've been doing it for 14 years, trained for 27 years myself. My program is over a 90-day period, and it's called the Burn and Build. We use nutrition to help you burn away the belly fat. We use the training in the gym, resistance training, to help you build a strong, healthy body again. Anyway, let's get on with it. So my superset this morning was, the first superset was bench. Now this is a smaller bar. This is only 65 kilo, which is on here, but because of the pace of the workout, the number of repetitions, so I'm getting between 12 to 15 reps within the 45-second work period, time under tension. It's a 30-second break. Then I'm going to what's called a lat stretcher. The lat stretcher exercise I actually got from a bodybuilder who I mentioned in the last video, John Meadows, and it really feels a great exercise. You can really feel it pulling on your lats, and then as you come up, as you'll see, you can pull in and get those lower lats as well. So it's almost like a 2-for-1 exercise for me when you do that exercise. And again, an experience of using it with thousands of clients now, they absolutely love it because it gives a nice big stretch into those lats. So let me show you the bench press and some tips for doing the bench press. Maybe you're fairly new to it and what we're looking for. So like any exercise that we teach to a client here at the facility, what I teach to my clients all the time is technique is king at the gym. Simple as that. You must understand that, guys. The exercises are only as good as the technique. They're only as good as the intensity that you do them at. It's as simple as that. If technique is shit, your results will be shit and you're going to lead to injuries. Simple as that. If your intensity is shit as well, it's poor, meaning you're not challenging yourself within the repetitions, your results will also be poor. That is the bottom line. I made the mistake when I first got into training believing that there was some sort of special program there with the best exercises, with the best repetitions, which is going to make you build loads of muscle. There's not. It's all about your technique, creating tension through the target muscle, keeping control within the repetitions, then getting a weight which is appropriate and challenging for the reps that you're doing or for the time under tension that you're doing. That's the key. And then doing it consistently over the days, the weeks, the months. So, set up for the bench. Foot position. Let's talk foot position first. Now, you can do it powerlifting style where you pull the feet away back and then press the heels down towards the floor, get the glutes involved, create this tension in the upper back, which is fine. You'll see that they do it with a massive arch. For the average general population, it's not that comfortable because they're usually tight. So, I would just pull your feet back into a comfortable position, make sure they're pressed and flat into the floor. Now get yourself looking directly at the bar. Make sure the bar is rolled forward into these pins if that's what you have. Don't start the bar back here and lift off and then you clip the pins. Roll it forward. Get your hands in the right position for you. Dig your upper back into the bench, push your feet into the floor, lift. Get steady, don't start bringing it down, get it steady. Shoulders pressed into the bench, feet pressed into the floor. Touch, press. Control down, touch, press. Question I always get from clients is this: do I always need to touch the bar to my chest? No. Now, here's why. My arm length is fairly short. I'm about 5'6.5". My limb length is not that long. Fairly decent chest, rib cage. So the distance that the bar is moving to my chest, I'm about here, okay? Elbows just drop slightly below the height of the shoulders when they're tucked in, and press. Now you take someone who's over 6 foot and they've got these big long arms, depending on the length of these, when they're bringing the bar down, they might get to the same depth that I've got to, but the bar is about this away. Now they still have a stretch on the chest. They still went a really good active range of motion, and then they can press up. So you've always got to think of how does it feel on the shoulders? We've got to think about that as well. If you can go right all the way to the chest, great. But don't do little half shitty reps. Full range of motion. Is the elbow, the upper arm, dropping slightly below the height of the chest and the shoulders? I would say that's about right. And press. So 45 seconds work. I then move to my next exercise. So push. Now I'm doing a pull. So I'm now going to pair this with what I call a kneeling lat stretcher. You can also do this if you have a normal lat pull down cable machine where your legs are tucked under and the pad is on. You can actually do it standing. That was the version that I used to do. You could do it standing, lean your torso forward. You will see the position of my torso and my body. So we use this particular version because we don't have one of those machines in the gym. So I've modified the exercise to look like this. So from here, you're leaning and tipping forward from the hips and also stretching through your lats. Your head comes just through the hands. Feel the big stretch through the lats. Pull, elbows in and down towards your hips. Stretch. Let the weight pull you, under control. So there you go. 45-second bench, 30-second recovery, 45-second lat stretcher, and then 2-minute recovery. Then I'm moving on to my second superset. So let's have a look at that. So now going to do a pushing more for the shoulders, the front delts, obviously triceps involved. And I'm going to use this pivot point here. So we call this a pivot point press, pivot point standing press. And I'm going to then go into a shrug, it's a type of shrug using this. Guys, I cannot explain to you how pumped. If you have this type of handle in your gym and you have a pivot point, try this exercise and then tell me it's not the best trap exercise that you've done. It's to do with the angle that you're at in this. You can lean slightly in because of where the bar is and you can get right into your traps. So when we do shrugs just straight up and down, you're not actually matching the line of pull. The traps actually run into the base here of the cervical spine. When we do traps, we sometimes go straight up in this direction towards the ear. So with this one, we lean slightly forward, and this counterbalances you so you can really lean into it and get a nice shrug. Again, might be just specific to me, but when I do this exercise, it is far superior to dumbbell shrugs. Now, do I still do dumbbell shrugs? Yes. I also do machine shrugs. So you follow the channel, we have a Prime Extreme, which is Extreme Row, which is also very good for doing upper trap shrugs because you can lean into it again. Now, I paired, as I said, this with a press. You're going to see both right now. So this is my next superset. Shoulder press, then shrug. Guys, that type of shoulder press is great on the shoulders, feels great. Sometimes when you do a standing barbell press, for clients, I mean general population, they struggle with that range of motion, straight up and down, right? Usually because the scapula isn't moving, got this upward rotation, it's not brilliant. Mobility through the shoulders, core strength to hold them in the correct position, so it can be a little bit tricky for and this is a great alternative. It feels really nice to lean into it and press through. So again, if your gym has that attachment, if it has this attachment, give that one a go. Now let's go into the shrug. So there we go, second superset complete. Again, if you don't have this piece of equipment, nothing wrong with doing a seated shoulder press on a bench, even having more of a 60-degree angle and pressing from there. Again, if you've got cranky shoulders, if you're in your 40s and you've trained for a while, you might have cranky shoulders. So changing that slight angle makes a massive difference. Barbell shoulder presses are great, so are the normal dumbbell presses. Changing those angles is also good for the joints as well. If we're just cranking out same exercises all the time, I mean month after month after month, not just changing it for the sake of changing it, but changing it, varying it. The muscle recruitment is slightly different. The joints are moving slightly different. There is less wear and tear on the joints. You see guys in their 60s in gyms, in 50s, and they've got fucking bandages around the arms, they've got bandages around the knees, tape here, tape. You don't want to be like that. So I would always advise, if you're new, stick to the same program for a period of time, learn the movements, nail the movements, build your strength on those exercises. But if you're a more experienced lifter, which I am, I like to vary the movements training session by training session and from week to week. It's just the way that I do my training now. I don't do that for my clients because they're usually beginner to intermediate, and I want them to actually learn how to bench, so it needs to be in there for a period of time. I want them to learn how to do dumbbell one-arm rows. I want them to learn how to do all the big movements. There needs to be a period of motor learning in there where they actually ingrain the movement. So, but that is a great exercise. Again, you could use dumbbell to do shrugs. You could use a machine to do shrugs, whatever it is. This is just my particular superset for this day based on a kind of shoulder dominant press and a upper trap shrug. So last superset, we're going to do what's called a Meadows row, again, borrowed from John Meadows. This is a great all-rounder as a row, targeting many muscles of the lats and the upper back themselves, and even into the rear delt muscle. So it's a good all-rounder as a back exercise. Puts the back muscles in a nice stretch as well. Then I'll go into just a very basic standing dumbbell lateral raise. Now I know it's not the popular boy at this movement because you don't really fucking go into the stretch, or there's no tension in stretch position. I don't care. It's still a great exercise for the delts. The other day I actually done the cable one as well. So again, guys, I'm not in the camp that this exercise is superior to this exercise, because I've done it for 27 years and I've been through a variety of training programs. I've been through every single exercise there is, pretty much. And I'm more about efficiency in the gym now. I cannot be fucked. I honestly can't be fucked setting up cables, cuffs on my arms to do laterals and taking up loads of equipment and stuff. I'm not interested in that for myself. I'm not interested in that for my clients. If I can get pretty much the same benefit from an exercise and it takes me 2 seconds to just set it up, get the reps done and get the fuck out the gym, that's for me. That is for me. So if you're here thinking you're going to see me try all these new invented exercises because they put you in this stretch position, you're not going to find it here with me. So you go follow the million other guys that are putting out videos in terms of training. I like to keep it super basic. I believe if you do the basics very well and do them over time, you'll get results. Again, not to say you can't have a cuffed lateral raise, not to say that you can't have a cuffed, let's say, cable chest fly. All of them are still great exercises. If that's what you like doing and it feels fantastic and you feel as though you're getting the benefit from it, go ahead, do it. Anyway, let's go on to the next superset, which is the medals row. I was getting about 10 reps on each side and then 15 reps on the lateral raise. Okay, so let's look at that. So a little tip for you as you do that exercise. Do the split stance. As you watch my stance, it's more here. That's to allow space for the bar as you do it. Also, put smaller plates on. What that's going to allow you to do is get more into the stretched into the position. Sorry, into the stretched position. If the plates are too big, you're always going to be hitting the floor with the plates and maybe you're not getting the full range of motion as you do the exercise. So slightly smaller plates is best so that you can really stretch down and then get a big strong pull in the way up for that exercise. So let's go into the lateral raise. So for the lateral raise, again, make sure you set up correctly, get your feet in a stable position. You can also do them seated if you wish, but get yourself in a nice stable position. Here, try and lead up through here. You can do a slight rotation at the top, thumb down, just to rotate the humerus in the way, which gets slightly more activation through your delts. But if you've got that nice control, then great. Try not to turn the hand back the way. Then it starts to become slightly more rear delts. Feet nice stable position, lock down the abs, raise up. Try not to, if you're doing your isolation exercise, try not to use too much momentum. Okay, if you're into the last few reps and you're doing just a few partials, let's say, and you're trying to get a few more reps, fair enough, but not in the beginning. Try and make it as isolated as you can as you do the exercise. Again, I always believe good controlled technique is going to get you far superior results. When you train naturally, so you're not doing any performance enhancing stuff, you're not in TRT, you're not in HRT, you're not doing steroids, blah, blah, blah. You need to try and really focus on technique. You really need to try and focus on the intensity being good within your training session. And making sure you're really feeling it in the target muscle to build muscle, to stay injury free. You will watch guys on the internet, and one thing that I always look at now is the one bodybuilder that I look at now who really pushed the envelope when it came to weight. When you look back at his technique, on some exercises I would say it looks a bit suspect, and that is Ronnie Coleman, right? Ronnie Coleman was putting enormous stress through his joints, and he's had 6 spine operations from doing squats. And when you watch him doing those 1,000-pound squats, I think it is, you're watching it going, oof, right? Okay, he's made a career out of it. Absolutely, he's done amazing. He was one of the best bodybuilders of all time. But if you take and the flip side of that, you take Jay Cutler, right? Who admits that he started to adapt his training to really focusing on technique, high intensity techniques, so that he didn't need to lift as heavy and put in much stress on the joints. And if you're just an average guy in your 40s, your 50s, and you want to train for the rest of your life for health reasons, then keep the technique spot on. Train heavy, but keep the technique spot on. That would be my finishing tip for you when it comes to lifting weights. Guys, so I finished that session, 6 exercises, 5 sets, roughly between 10 to 15 reps, depending on the exercise. As I said, I let the time dictate the repetitions whilst trying to do controlled repetitions. When it comes to, let's say, tempo, if you know what tempo is, so throughout each phase of the lift, the way that I see it and the way that I learnt it from a famous strength coach, Charles Poliquin, when it comes to time under tension, 4 phases of a lift, right? We have a concentric when the muscle is shortening. At the top of that bicep curl, I have an isometric pause, okay? Then I have the eccentric, that lowering phase. And at the bottom of this, you could say there is another pause, okay? So 4 phases of the lift. There would be 4 numbers associated to those 4 phases. So for example, bicep curl, 2 seconds up, 1 second pause, 2 seconds down, 1 second pause, okay? So we've got roughly 6 seconds of time under tension per repetition, right? Doesn't always work like that, but as long as we're really focusing on being controlled and deliberate with the eccentric, doesn't need to be 4 or 5 seconds. Just fight against the weight, make your muscles lower the weight. It's the best way I can put it to you. Make the muscle lower the weight. So if you're doing a bench, don't just let gravity bring the weight down. Use your muscles to lower the weight. When you do the row, like in this one, pull, let your muscles fight against the weight going down the way. And always try to have control, okay? So I let the time under tension, which is 45 seconds, dictate the repetitions and try and last for the 45 seconds and stick to the rest periods. You can pick the traditional rep ranges, what your rep range is going to be, what are your rest periods going to be, what are your exercises going to be. Have a structure, have a plan. A lot of the reasons why people don't get results, I mean general population clients, is they do not have structure, they do not have a plan. They go into a gym with zero focus. Do a few exercises, do a bit of cardio and fuck off again and never see a result. So get a plan, get structure, get clear what you want to achieve in the gym, and you're going to see far superior results from that, from a strength point of view, muscle building and improving your overall fitness. Now what I done at the end of that training session was I done interval style training. So I done the rower for 45 seconds, 30-second recovery, 45 seconds on the bike. I done 5 and 5, so 10 in total. And that was my workout, guys. That was my workout. Now that would normally take 60 minutes, but obviously I'm talking to you guys and giving you ideas of maybe how to train. Now, next video will be a leg training session. I'm going to take you through the structure of my legs, the exercises that I like to have in there, and we'll take it from there. Guys, I've also got a first podcast episode up. I'm going to link that here for you to go listen to go watch. It gives you more details of who I am, where I've come from, and who I train, which is men over 40 trying to get in shape, stay in shape. And I show them what to do in lifestyle, I show them what to do in nutrition, and I show them how to train to get rid of the belly fat, get their body back in shape and start to get healthy again. That's who I train. So that's what the podcast is all about. Go watch the podcast, go like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.